One day I'm gonna be everything I wanna be. I don't let it get the most of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be everything I'm gonna be. My future right in front of me. One day I'm gonna be free. I wanna be free.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges. A host with a fire burning in his soul. With a heart steel and a spirit unbroken. He rides onto wheels ready to claim his throne. Amidst the chaos and the thunderous roar, insane wheels rise as a force to be reckoned with. Fueled by the power that only metal can bestow. He takes his stand, refusing to submit. Insane wheels hear his battle cry. Metal and mayhem will never die. Rituals report he pays his way. More legend in the making, day by day.
Man, oh man, happy Topless Taco Tuesday to everybody, man. Much love, honor, and respect to everyone. Hopefully you're all enjoying your Monday morning so far, or Tuesday morning so far. Shit, I was stuck in the past, I guess. So listen, check it out. We have a lot to go through this morning. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stories, but one of them is the whole full remarks of Trump meeting with Netanyahu yesterday. We're going to have that sped up a little bit, and we'll skip around if there's some just prattle, you know what I mean? But nonetheless, we have a lot to get through. The death toll regarding Texas is now reached to 104, which is insane, and it just continues to escalate. And then we have another story, 5 Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza, 14 others injured. Then more of updates on the Texas flood as the death toll rises, as well as other images that we haven't necessarily seen yet. And then at 10 a.m., which is supposed to be right now, 2 minutes ago, essentially, there's supposed to be a live press. President Trump holds a cabinet meeting amid new tariffs and the Texas flooding. So that should be firing up any time now. And of course, we're going to be catching all of it together. So we'll let it do its thing while we do that. And then we'll get that aspect of the cabinet at the end of the show rather than trying to wait it out in the beginning. So nonetheless, before we get into the madness today, make sure you guys come in and hit that like button. It helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do. By the way, if you guys are new to the show, hit that subscribe button because it's also free. Please consider becoming a member, though, starting at $2.99 a month. We're making sure we're not breaking the bank out there with anybody, but check it out. This is exactly how we get to speak the way that we do on this channel is 100%. We're 100% funded by you guys. So we don't cater ourselves to views to make money. We cater to you guys in the Breakfast Club. So W you guys. Little side note, follow my Instagram right here at BallValveTV, where I post everything behind the scenes of not only my life, but as well as the show, Millennial Food Time, and breaking news as always, guys. So make sure you guys follow me over there. And we have the Discord that Naomi will be throwing into the chat over there for you guys. So make sure you guys join in on that to continue the conversation after the show. And last but not least, every super chat, super sticker, gifted membership signups, all these things are, of course, going to be shouted out and presented live onto the show. But if you guys would like to skip that YouTube 30% brutal cut that they take from your hard-earned money, well, check it out. We have these platforms that you guys can donate to. And, of course, I will read out your message. I have it ready to go on the phone. As you guys know, I'm trying to be really good about if people are going to send money on Venmo and Cash App and PayPal, that I need to catch it as fast as they're coming in. I really can't be getting them late. That's not really good incentive for anybody. So I'm making sure I've got it queued up. And good to see everyone in here. We got Steve Easy up in here. We got Naomi throwing the Discord link in here. Appreciate that. We got Carney's Ride as well as we got Lappy. Good morning to you, kind sir. We got Wildcard as well. Good morning. You know what I'm really glad is that they changed all the usernames back from, instead of it being the @InsaneWheels, for instance, in the chat, the YouTube handle, that they brought it back over to your normal names. So I'm really stoked about that. We got 13 up in here as well. Good morning, kind sir. Good to see you as well. Happy Topless Taco Tuesday to everybody. We got Brother Beezer up in here as well. Yes, good to see you, as he's talking mad shit about me. That's cool. We got Tiffany as well, saying she can see half of Naomi. Yes, she is over there hanging out on the bed right now. We got Gunpowder Nitro as well. Rabbit of Chaos, good morning to you guys. Brother S&S, good morning to you, kind sir, as well as Christopher Collins over here in Bama. Roll Tide, baby. We got Steve Posey as well. Good morning, good morning. And we got Brother Frank saying, yeah, everyone loves Lucy, bro. Everyone loves Lucy. We got Walter King over there. My man Dark Horse on the Facebook side of things. We got Viking Paradigm, my man. Good morning to you, kind sir. Good to see you as well, hanging out with us in the chat here. There's Dark Horse. There he is. I knew he was going to probably come in on his main account over here on the YouTube side of things. We got Prez up in here as well. Good morning. Good morning. All right. And get some. What's up? What's up? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and fire up our first ordeal. We have a lot to get through this morning. And we are going to be playing this up a little bit only because it's, Trump at this White House, ordeal with President or with Netanyahu. So I'm going to try to get us through this. There's 32 minutes to this. Obviously, we're not going to play the whole damn thing because we got way too much to get through. But anyways, we're going to try.
I can hear you live now from Fox. I'm Maniac. Let's quickly get you out to the White House.
Yeah, just get me to the White House.
With Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
We're going to have a lot of great results, so it's great to have you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to express the appreciation and admiration, not only of all Israelis, but of the Jewish
So that's Netanyahu speaking.
people, and many, many admirers around the world for your leadership of the free world, your leadership of the just cause, and the pursuit of peace and security, which you are leading in many lands, but now especially in the Middle East. We have great.
I put the closed captions as well, so you guys, just in case. I know he kind of speaks funny.
Opportunities.
And it's bad audio, by the way.
The president has an extraordinary team, and I think our teams together make an extraordinary combination to meet challenges and seize opportunities.
Miss Lotus, good morning.
The president has already realized great opportunities. He forged the Abraham Accords. He's forging peace as we speak, in one country, in one region after the other. So I want to present to you, Mr. President, the letter I sent to the Nobel Prize Committee. It's nominating you for the Peace Prize, which is well deserved.
So, of course, he's going to nominate Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. Let's just hope that the rest of the world would see that from Trump.
Thank you very much. This I didn't know. Wow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but you saw that shit coming, for sure. Out of anybody, yeah.
Thank you.
Coming from you in particular, this is very meaningful. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Thank you. It's a great honor.
We got Bill Castle up in here. Good morning to you as well, Country.
Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
And Papa Penguin.
The families of the victims of Texas flood. And can you talk about what you would like to do when you travel there on Friday?
Well, we're going to just make it as comfortable as possible for the state of Texas. They have a great governor. They have wonderful senators. They have wonderful representatives, and we're going to work together with them. And we have been working really, very hard. This whole table has been working. That was a terrible event. You saw that maybe where Texas was just absolutely so badly hurt by something that was a big surprise late in the evening. So we'll be working with the governor and all of the people of Texas. We'll be going on Friday.
Mr. President, there was a security incident in northern Gaza today, right around the time that the Prime Minister was meeting the Secretary of State, Mr. Steve Witkoff. Does that, and a number of IDF soldiers reportedly been injured, possibly killed, does that in any way ripple in
Who is asking what question? Is that the media already?
ceasefire negotiations with Hamas?
I don't think so. They want it. They want to meet and they want to have that ceasefire. So I don't think so. Steve, could you respond to this? You know about it?
I think it's terribly
Steve
unfortunate.
Witkoff.
Terribly unfortunate. We were just talking
Negotiator.
about it, how tragic it is, but we have an opportunity to finally get a peace deal, Mr. Prime Minister, as we discussed. And
Brother Pablo, good morning to you.
I'm hopeful for it very quickly.
Mr.
More or less final offer. Look, we're always subject to.
What is up with these guys in the media jumping down there? I thought there was going to be a little bit more spoken. I guess the rest of this is just going to be media. No, they're talking amongst themselves. Okay, good.
Negotiate something that's fair, but we've talked to most of the countries, and pretty much they've had their way for many, many decades, as you know. And it was time that we just wanted fairness. This is not really equitable from our standpoint because it's just a small token by comparison to the damage that's been done over.
Sadly, sadly, in politics, that's absolutely how it runs. And it's sad because there's a lot of America first out here, and then I think they end up getting fucked up by the whole system. I think they end up getting bought out or whatever the case is, or there's some sort of benefit to them personally, you know?
The years, but we had no other president that was willing to do this. I did it in my first term with China and others. We took in hundreds of billions of dollars of tariffs. No inflation, the most successful.
What are you talking about, Dark Horse? I invited you. I invited everybody, actually. I put it out here on YouTube. I said, leading up for the whole 4th of July ordeal, I was like saying, hey, listen, if you guys want to show up, you just got to give me, I got to know that you're coming. That's all I got to know. Yeah, we even had a little fundraiser that we wrote. You know, we raised a little bit of money. We raised $200, which is awesome. I appreciate you guys, Hardwire as well, that he did a lot of the donating, but I very much appreciate anybody that got involved in that
Period of time that we've ever had financially in the country. The first term, I think this term is going to be much better, even much better than that. That was the best ever, and this is going to be, I think, substantially better, and we're on the way to doing that.
And I saw that, Steve. He says, so now Trump is sending more weapons to Ukraine. And yes, that is true. He admitted that yesterday. He's like, he said something to the media to the effect that, I mean, I saw the quotes, but we have to give them these, weapons. We have to. And it's like, what the fuck? No, we don't. We don't have to give shit to nobody.
We've already taken in over $100 billion worth of tariffs, and we haven't even started. And all I say to the other countries is, some of them wanted to make a deal and wanted to be fair. Others perhaps got a little bit spoiled. They were a little bit spoiled because for 30, 40 years, 50 years, they were taking advantage of the country. So we're going to, I would say, final, but if they call with a different offer and if I like it, we'll do it. I would say firm. No, I would say firm, but not 100% firm. If they call up and they say, would like to do something a different way, we're going to be open to that. But essentially, that's the way it is right now. Yeah.
Mr. President, is your Palestinian relocation plan still on the table? Is there a plan? Has that heard any progress in finding?
Yeah, maybe why don't I let you answer that question?
Mr. President,
wait a minute, wait, he's got to answer.
I think President Trump had a brilliant vision. It's called free choice. If people want to stay, they can stay. But if they want to leave, they should be able to leave. It shouldn't be a prison. It should be an open place and give people free choice. We're working with the United States very closely about finding countries that will seek to realize what they always say, that they want to give the Palestinians a better future. And those who, and I think we're getting close to finding several countries, and I think this will give, again, the freedom to choose. Palestinians should have it. And I hope that we can secure it close by.
And we've had great cooperation from surrounding Israel, surrounding countries, great cooperation from every single one of them. So something good will happen. Brian, did you have something?
Mr. President, you mentioned before you want to go down your legacy as the peacemaker. Are we in the last
Yes.
chapter of closing out peace amongst this conflict now and all the others that are going on?
Well, I hope so. Look, we did a job with India and Pakistan and Serbia, Kosovo, Rwanda, and the Congo. And this was all over the last 3 weeks or so, Marco, right? We did, and others that were ready to fight. And we stopped a lot of fights. I think a very big one, frankly, a very, very big one was India and Pakistan. And we stopped that over trade. We're dealing with India and we're dealing with Pakistan. And we say, we're not going to be dealing with you at all if you're going to fight. And they were maybe at a nuclear stage of both, nuclear powers. And I think something that was very important. We're trying to help out with a Biden-created monster, this whole thing that's happening with Russia and Ukraine. It's a horrible thing. And I'm not happy with President Putin at all.
So, because you're not happy with President Putin over there, you're just going to give weapons over to Zelensky, who you are happy with? Or what? Because that's what the actions show.
But this is something that would have never happened if I were president. This was a war that was never going to happen. Go ahead, Ron.
I was going to say, how would you address your critics?
So why are you contributing to the war right now?
The election, they said that you would cause the next World War III. And in fact, you're
Step off grid.
I'm stopping wars.
Good morning.
I'm stopping wars. And I hate to see people killed. Like, as an example, Ukraine and Russia. They're not Americans there being killed. They're not Israelis that are being killed. These are all Russians and all Ukrainians. But it's 5,000, maybe 7,000 last week, 7,500 last week, mostly soldiers. But people in towns and cities that are getting hit. But mostly death is mostly soldiers. Now, so they don't come from here, but it's 7,000 last week souls. And if I can stop that, they have parents and they have sisters and brothers and getting married and who knows, they're just people, but they're souls. And if I can stop a war, because I have an ability to do so, I'm disappointed, frankly, that President Putin hasn't stopped. I'm not happy about it either. Yes.
So you're going to contribute to the war. That doesn't make sense to me.
Iran talks, can you say that you've scheduled the next round of Iran talks and they'll talk strike?
We have scheduled Iran talks and they want to talk. They took a big drubbing, I think, when we hit the The three sites, really, I would say the three sites, not just the one. The one was a big one, and it was deep in granite, and it
Yeah,
was
I guess this is proof, Steve.
obliterated. It turned out the Atomic Energy Commission said it is obliterated. I would just want to take our hats off to those incredible flyers, the people that flew that big.
Crown Green, there's no doubt by that, by the way. No one here likes Putin like that. Of course not. You know what I mean? Dude's a terrible dude.
Machine. And frankly, the mechanics and everybody else, they had zero. They flew for 37 hours with zero problem mechanically. I mean, when you think
What's up, David?
the biggest bombs
Good morning.
ever, the biggest bombs
That's
that
right.
we've ever dropped on anybody. What do you think? Non-nuclear, and we want to keep it non-nuclear, by the way. But they did a phenomenal job. It was an amazing job, and I think that was. I was talking to Bibi about it before. That was the very beginning of the end. It ended very quickly after that. I don't want to say what it reminded me of, but if you go back a long time ago, it reminded people of a certain other event, and is. Harry Truman's picture is now in the lobby, in a nice location in the lobby where it should have been, but that stopped a lot of fighting. And this stopped a lot of fighting. When that happened, it was a whole different ballgame.
On future strikes, what might make you have a desire to do another strike on Iran?
Another what?
Another strike on Iran.
I hope
Another strike on Iran.
we're not going to have to do that. I can't imagine
That's kind of a stupid question.
wanting to do that. I can't imagine them wanting
And Netanyahu's right there.
to do it. They want to meet. They want to meet. They want to work something out. No, they're different. They're very different now than they were 2 weeks ago.
Is there a date yet for the talks or a city? Do you know when and where the next round of Iran talks will be?
Well, I
Money talks, homeboy. You know, it's just the way it works.
can tell you. I'd rather not say, but you'll be reading about it tomorrow or seeing it tomorrow.
Mr. President, what is the holdup currently in ceasefire with Hamas?
In which
In ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, what's currently the holdup?
I don't think there is a holdup. I don't think there's a holdup. I think things are going along very well.
What's up, sick bastard? Good morning to you.
We just, left each other, and it was not a pleasant period of a few days. It was a little longer than a few days, but this was not a pleasant period of time. And, we were, at the end, 40 missiles were shot, and every single missile was shot out of the air. It was pretty amazing. That was sort of the end. And they told us they were coming and where they were and what time they were coming. And they said, if you'd like to have a different time, we'll do that. And that's respect when they do that. I appreciated that they did that. There was no surprise. We got the soldiers out of the base in Qatar, in this case. But they knew they were coming. 14 missiles were coming.
We need this.
1 o'clock, they said, would you like to make it later? They said, no, let them come at 1 o'clock. And at 1 o'clock, everybody was, as you know, over 5,000 people left the base. And we had 3 gunners and 3 assistants. And out of the 14 that were shot, all 14 were knocked down. And that was the end. That was about it. And we had a rough time. But sometimes you need the rough time in order to get. I think things are going to be really settled down a lot in the Middle East. And they respect us, and they respect Israel. They respect a lot of things that took place. Nobody's ever seen equipment like what we sent over to knock out those sites. But when those sites were knocked out, that was the end.
Do you think that there can be a two-state solution that brings an independent?
I don't know. Ask Bibi that question. You have the greatest man in the world to answer that age-old question. 2-state. Go ahead. You give him your honest answer.
Damn. Here he goes. Give me your honest answer, he said.
I think Palestinians should have all the powers to govern themselves, but none of the powers should threaten us.
Wait, I think Palestinians should have all the parts to govern themselves, but
And that means that certain powers, like overall
none
security,
of the policies are threatening us.
will always remain in our hands. Now, that is a fact. And no one in Israel will agree to anything else because we don't commit suicide. We want life, we cherish life for ourselves, for our neighbors. And I think we can work out a peace between us and the entire Middle East with President Trump's leadership. And by working together, I think we can establish a very, very broad peace.
Oh, it can happen. It's obviously anything that Israel wants gets right at the moment with Trump.
That will include all our neighbors.
Mr. President, question on Iran. You asserted that there's complete and total destruction of their nuclear facilities. So what is the basis of the talks going forward? Is it to count future nuclear activities, ballistic missiles, terror support, economic-based opportunities?
It's really a good question because if you remember when it was done, I sort of said, what's the purpose of talking? It's been knocked out completely. But they've requested a meeting, and I'm going to go to a meeting, and if we could put something down on paper, that would be fine. That'll be good. I think they've gained a lot of respect for us. I think they've gained a lot of respect for Israel also. But they would like to meet, and we're going to have a meeting. Steve, when is that meeting going to be? Do you want to say?
Rather, very quickly, in the next week or so.
So we'll see what happens. I think it'd be nice to memorialize it, put it down, but because of the incredible result of that attack, if you want to call it an attack, I didn't think it was necessary to have it in writing. I think we spoke. I mean, that speaks much louder than writing, but I can also understand why they'd want it. And they've been very nice. They've been very respectful. And it began by them telling us about 14. They had to do. You know what 14 represents, right? Do you know what 14 represents, right? You know that, right? A number of bombs dropped. So it was, representative. We got them all. Yeah, please, behind you, please. No, you.
I believe it's going out as a gift.
The Prime Minister, a lot of the next mayor of the cities are on Democratic Socialists, the local critic of Israel. I know your town has said he would arrest you if you came to New York City if he was mayor.
We can't hear that guy who's asking the question right now. None of us can understand what the fuck he's saying.
That's something you take seriously. Are you concerned about that? Take responsibility.
No, I'm not concerned about that.
I'll get him out.
Look, there's enough craziness in the world, but I guess it never ends. I mean, you have this is a fall, and it's it's silly in many ways because it's just not serious. But what is serious is the question I was asked before. After October 7th, people said the Palestinians had a state, Hamas state in Gaza. Look what they did with it. They didn't build it up. They built down into bunkers, into terror tunnels. After which they massacred our people, raped our women, beheaded our men, invaded our cities and our towns and our kibbutzim, and did horrendous massacres, the kind of which we didn't see since World War II and the Nazis, the Holocaust. So people aren't likely to say, let's just give them another state that'll be a platform to destroying Israel. We'll work out a peace with our Palestinian neighbors, those who don't want to destroy us, and we'll work out a peace in which our security, the sovereign power of security, always remains in our hands. Now people are saying it's not a complete state, it's not a state, it's not that. We don't care. We've vowed never again is now. It's not going to happen again.
So we'll see you in New York next year.
Oh, well, look, I'm going to come there with the President Trump, and we'll see how do you know who the mayor will be? I don't know that. Do we know that?
He's going to be very fine, and who knows? We don't know who the mayor's going to be yet.
Real quick. Okay, so I guess the question was about the New York mayor over there, New York City. Real quick, I got to make a quick little side note. Make sure you guys hit the like button. Helps out the show immensely, and it's free to do so. I know it's very laborious work, everybody, but it helps out the show. So, anyways.
This is a communist. He's not a socialist. He's a communist. And he said some really bad things about Jewish people. And he said some really bad things about a lot of people. And I think he's going through a little bit of a honeymoon right now, but he might make it. But, it all comes through the White House. He needs the money through the White House. He needs a lot. He's going to behave. He'll behave. He better behave. Otherwise, he's going to have big problems. But it's a philosophy that this country is not ready for, and it never will be. By the way, we have a man with us who thought this was going to be a very glamorous, easy job. He's the ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, former governor, former everything. I'd say he's a former everything, and respected and loved by everybody. And he loves Israel. He loves the state of Israel, and nobody loves it much more. And he's
well, you got to give him that.
Not Jewish, and he loves Israel. And he wanted to be there. I said, Mike, it could be dangerous. No. Well, at least I was right about that. He was in every bunker you could be in. He was running around from bunker to bunker, but he's still with us, fortunately, and he's done a great job. Would you say a few words, Mike?
Just want to say what an honor it is to serve you, Mr. President, and to see a historic horizon that we're looking at in the Middle East. And when the president made his trip to the Middle East, and then he really reached out to the new Syrian government, knowing they needed a partner, and knowing that they could pick the wrong partner. And what the president did, which took us all off guard, but the strategic move in that has set up something that is absolutely historic. Mr. President, I don't even think you fully comprehend the impact that you're having on the region in a way that is so remarkable.
Oh, he knows. He knows exactly what kind of impact he's leaving right now in the Middle East.
And it was...
Stop the cap, homeboy.
Stop the cap.
He's just over there brown nosing.
Your leadership, your foresight, you did that when the B-2s went in. The celebration, the sense of partnership that you gave with the Israeli people was so dramatic. But the message was bigger than to Israel. It was a message to the world. America's friends can trust us.
What's up, Jack? Good to see you, man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday.
America's foes had better fear us. And that is a message that the president sent to everyone on the planet. And it is a message that will resonate toward a matter of peace, the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen. So
thank you. Great job you're doing, too. They love you over there. They
really, you too, bro.
They respect him and they love him. It's very, very interesting. We had the pilots here yesterday, as you know, and they were incredible. And we also had the mechanics. We had a lot of people here that had to do, a lot of people, I think about 170 people that had to do with that incredible journey, a journey that could have been horrible. You remember what happened with Jimmy Carter, with the helicopters and all of the problems, and ultimately hostages. We had the exact opposite. Everything was perfect. It worked perfectly. But I didn't realize, I was saying to one, is this something that you felt strongly about? Absolutely, sir. I couldn't wait. I said, better than you, really better you than me. But they couldn't wait. He said, sir, we've been practicing for this mission for more than 20 years. From just after 2000.
What's up, Hardwire? Good to see you, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your holiday, which we're calling every Tuesday holiday now. It's your Topless Taco Tuesday. To me, it's a holiday, man. I love it. Every single week we got a holiday.
They've been thinking and practicing to go into that area. I guess you probably know that better than anybody, Pete. They've been looking at going in, but they never had a president that would allow them to do it. And perhaps right, perhaps wrong. I don't know if that's true or not, but I didn't realize they were preparing for that journey from just a little bit after 2000, the year 2000. And I was pretty amazed by that. They knew it. They knew every inch of it. And they came back and they said, we got it better than we ever did in practice. But they've been practicing for more than 20 years. Can you imagine? Yeah.
On Ukraine, Mr. President, are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves.
Here we go. Here we go. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this part is regarding Ukraine. I'm going to bring that back so you guys can hear what is happening again.
In practice, but they've been practicing for more than 20 years. Some more weapons we have to.
To Ukraine, Mr. President, are you planning to send more weapons to Ukraine?
Sending more weapons to Ukraine.
We're going to send some more weapons. We have to. They have to be able to defend themselves. They're getting hit very hard now. They're getting hit very hard. We're going to have to send more weapons. Yeah, defensive weapons primarily, but they're getting hit very, very hard. So many people are dying in that mess.
Man, what a way to just disregard that. I mean, he moved on quick.
All they have to do.
He knows that that's a very unpopular decision right there.
They always talk about how good it is. The biggest tax cuts ever. No tax on tips. No tax on Social Security. Think of it. No tax on overtime. From a business standpoint, the jobs are coming in like we've never seen them before. As soon as that was signed, there were 9 factories that announced that they were building the 1-year deductibility. You know, things that, from a business standpoint, you'd understand. The jobs that are being created, and one of the things that is, and this is also that, but it's also because of the tariffs. It's tremendous success. We're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. One of the things that is so exciting is the number of companies and car companies where they're building plants. AI is the big thing. We have over $15 trillion announced already, and it's been, I mean, really, I would say it's been.
Oh yeah, we care. So tonight you're doing the show at 6 p.m. Eastern, so that's 5 p.m. Central. All right, I'll be there. Hell yeah.
During the last 3 months, but we're here for a short period of time, and some administrations never had anywhere near that number for a whole term, probably for a whole 2 terms. But we're up to over $15 trillion coming into our country. There's never been anything like it anywhere in the world. There's never been an investment like that anywhere in the world. We look, I told the story, and I just told it to Bibi backstage. I was talking to him, and I said, you know, the King of Saudi Arabia, smart guy, and also we went to Qatar and we went to UAE. Really 3 strong leaders, smart guys. They all told me the same thing. And then that was reiterated at NATO just recently when we got back, where they agreed to spend $1 trillion a year, by the way, which is about 3 times what they were spending. But they all said the same thing. We thought your country was dead. Horrible term, right? We thought the United States of America was dead. And now you're presiding over the hottest country anywhere in the world. We're the hottest country in the world. I think Bibi would admit it, even hotter than Israel, although Israel was pretty hot about a week ago, I can tell you, for the wrong reasons. But we are the hottest country in the world right now. And it happened faster than anybody thought possible. But we have over $15 trillion, and that means jobs, and that means building, and that means things like we've never seen before. So all we can do is keep working hard. There'll be always surprises.
What's up, Are We Not Men? Good morning.
The surprises are going to be bad surprises.
In your view, is the war between Israel not over, or do those talks keep happening before you do?
Well, I would say that the best man to answer that is the Prime Minister. But I will tell you that, in my view, I hope it's over. Yeah, I think Iran wants to meet. I think they want to make peace, and I'm all for it. Now, if that's not the case, we are ready, willing, and able. But I don't think we're going to have to be. But I think Bibi would answer that question very well.
I think the partnership between Israel and the United States, the partnership between President Trump and me, produced a historic victory. It's an incredible victory, actually. It brought the greatest capabilities of the United States that are matched with the great capabilities of Israel and the army of Israel, pilots of Israel, soldiers of Israel, and the Mossad. And the combination of these 2 extraordinary capacities produced a decisive result. It set back the 2 tumors that were threatening the life of Israel, the nuclear tumor and the ballistic missile tumor, because they were planning to build 20,000 of these things and launch it on a country the size of New Jersey. And no country could withstand it.
Right. Well, I mean, 20,000 of those is a humongous threat to Israel. Absolutely. I mean, Iran does have a very complex, a very world-renowned fucking missile program, ballistic missiles, hypersonics.
So what do you do when you have 2 things that are going to kill you? You have to remove them. With our combined effort, we did. But when you remove a tumor, it doesn't mean that it can't come back. You have to constantly monitor the situation to make sure that there's no attempt to bring it back. So we've had a great achievement, and I think part of the effort of consolidating this and ensuring that we don't have to repeat this is to monitor this carefully. Of course, the President and I are talking about it, our teams are talking about it, but there's no question this is a historic victory. And I think, as was said here today, this has already changed the face of the Middle East. But I think that there's an opportunity here to create a historic expansion of the Abraham Accords, which were themselves an act of history that deserve a Nobel Prize for the President. But I think the opportunities are much bigger. And I hope, I'd like to believe that Iran would not test our fortitude because it would be a mistake. It's better to go differently.
Do you believe regime change is still necessary there?
I think it's up to the people of Iran.
Mr. Prime Minister, speaking of that on Syria, the Trump administration was fully supportive of the changes in Syria back in the new regime there. Obviously, your government more cautious from a security standpoint. Are you comfortable with the pace of change of the security situation vis-a-vis Syria right now?
I think there's an opportunity to explore.
This is a good question.
I think that I think that everyone understands that the situation has changed. Before
Regard Syria.
that, Iran was essentially running Syria, okay, directly through Hezbollah. Hezbollah has been brought to its knees. Iran is out of the picture. So I think this presents opportunities for stability, for security, and eventually for peace. And I think that's been opened up also by the fact that the president has opened up a channel. So they have something. There's a lot to lose by going back to conflict. And there's a lot to gain by moving towards peace. And I think that opportunity has been opened by the president and by the changed security situation, which we brought about with the collapse of the Assad regime.
All right, perfect. We'll go ahead and end that there. We got enough of that. Now we're going to go ahead and go into the Texas floods. Unfortunately, the death toll has risen. It's reached 104 in Texas as they continue to do search and rescue efforts. There's a lot of devastating images from the next couple of things that we're going to be going over here. It's brutal. There's a lot of craziness going on over there in Texas right now.
Live now from Fox, everyone. I'm your host, Mike Page. We do want to continue to give you the latest updates on the tragedy out in Texas. Now we are learning from that flooding disaster that the total number of victims has now risen once again to 104 people here. We do want to go out to Fox 26 out in Houston, giving the latest updates on this tragedy. Let's listen in.
Yeah, this is terrible.
I want to get you up to date on the very latest information that is unfolding with this epic disaster. The death toll from the weekend flooding in central Texas has risen to 104 people now. Fatalities reported across 6 counties, most of the deaths happening in Kerr County. At least 10 girls from Camp Mystic, they are still missing at this hour. Officials say crews were able to rescue more than 850 people over the holiday weekend. This morning, a press conference took place in Kerrville, which has been considered ground zero for the emergency. That included city leaders, first responders, along with other officials. Senator Ted Cruz was there as well.
So, of course, we hear from the officials, but as you know, and as we've been reporting since Friday, it's the personal stories. It's the people who are down there, the volunteers, the families searching for loved ones. It's those stories that we continue to bring you as well.
It is. And as we enter day 4, we're on day 4 of the disaster, and you have parents who are going to go to bed again tonight, not even knowing the whereabouts of their child. And
there's no way you could possibly sleep in that moment. There's no way.
We've all been talking about this, just as every one of you have, watching us in the newsroom, in your circle of friends, at your place of employment, and everyone trying to put themselves in other people's shoes. And it's really just unimaginable for any parent to even think about what these folks are going through.
We have so many crews who are there in the area in Kerr County. Alex Boyer arrived today in Kerrville. Alex, I'm interested in talking with you because you've been covering the story over the weekend. I think it's one thing to cover it from where we're sitting, but it's another to be where everything is happening. So tell us what you've seen, what you've heard.
Yeah, you're right. And it's pretty incredible. We actually just got here to Kerrville, I would say within the past hour or so, and set up here along.
Why are you gay? You are gay.
A park that has been cordoned off, and in the distance there, you can see why. It's because that is where the banks of the Guadalupe River are. And you can see the water levels at this point. They've receded a lot, and you may be able to see, though, those tall trees that have just toppled over, ripped out of their roots, and really dragged onto their side. Who knows how far downstream as a result of those floodwaters that just really...
And that ain't shit either.
Heading these recreation areas and these camps. So they really love seeing all of the children and all of the camp counselors' stories.
Look at that shit. Just insane.
Posted online and hearing all of those tragic stories with parents, as Casey mentioned, who are going to go to bed tonight not knowing where their loved one is, if their loved one is still alive. They tell me that they're really trying to volunteer their time. That's where they were out today, looking for areas where they could volunteer their time. They say that they haven't been able to do so because there has been so many people in this community who have been wanting to do the exact same thing. So they know for right now all they can do is take a pause, take a step back, and really just be available for when they're called and when they are needed.
Oh my God, look at the house.
Listening to that press conference today, I can tell you it really struck me that U.S. Senator
No way.
Same thing. So they know for right now, all they can do is take a pause.
Look at it's up to the bridge now. And then
take a step back and really just be available for when they're called and when they are needed. Listening to that press conference today, I can tell you it really struck me that U.S. Senator Ted Cruz actually got a little emotional today when he was...
Yo, isn't that fucking crazy, Grid? What's up, kind sir? Hopefully you're enjoying the Topless Taco Tuesday morning for yourself. Man, this is crazy. Absolutely insane. And yes, as Steve Easy said, he's like, you trying to get everyone a drink today or something like that? You go from angry news to extremely sad news. Jeez. Yeah, this is rough. This is hard to see for sure. But hopefully everyone's enjoying their morning as best they can. And listen, this is a bad time to ask for it, but listen, you guys don't necessarily have to like what's happening around the world, but you guys can like the video for me and my takes and for the channel. It helps out the channel a lot, and it's free.
Talking with reporters because of the fact that he revealed that just last week he was here in
Hi,
Kerrville
my
picking
man.
up his own daughter from one of the many camps that line the Guadalupe River here, and he knows it could have easily been the same for him as it is for many of these parents today. I can tell you that Texans on a mission from North Texas, they're currently on their way down here in an effort to begin searching and rescuing folks in this area. They tell me, their spokesperson, that they really hope to have that operation ramped up on Thursday. They do have some preachers that are here, some pastors who are able to provide counsel to many of the folks in need.
Hey, Alex, question for you.
We got Frederick Frame up in the building as well. Good to see you. We're going to go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. Is that the bridge? What is this? Is that the same bridge? No fucking way. Now it's almost completely underwater.
And all of a sudden, we saw homes that were completely fine. Then we saw some cones and some barricades. And then we saw trees and devastation and cars moved.
Wow.
And I even saw what looked like a hospital bed on wheels that had been thrown across the roadway there. I don't know if it belonged to someone who was involved in home care or from a nearby urgent care facility, but it was clear there even that some of the rising floodwaters had just gone diagonally across that part of Marble Falls, making it impassable at one point. We were able to get through there, but there were some detours we had to encounter in order to get around that area. But that is what is pretty remarkable about Mother Nature, and also just seeing that today there's blue skies out, everything looks perfect, and then you come across devastation like that and you realize, wow, this just happened in this area, and so many people are impacted even as far away from what is considered ground zero in Marble Falls.
All right. Well, Fox 4's Alex Boyer and photojournalist Mark Gustafson, who's working with you.
Real quick, let me go ahead and skip ahead and see if there's any ordeal here.
Rain in less than 6 hours.
And we have all the updates regarding the Texas flood as well. So we don't need any of that because that was a couple hours ago.
Gulf. The remnants came ashore in Mexico, and then that tropical moisture was funneled northward into Texas. And we're talking.
I guess this is how this whole thing started and why it's happening. That's interesting. I do want to see that.
Here's the setup.
I am a geek.
Again, this has its roots in tropical moisture from Tropical Storm Barry, which was briefly over the far southern Gulf. The remnants came ashore in Mexico, and then that tropical moisture was funneled northward into Texas. And we're talking about moisture that was in the 99th percentile or even greater than what we typically see this time of the year. And then you have this weak moving disturbance coming along, providing lift, and that generated a well-organized complex of storms that dump rain hour after hour, July 3rd into July 4th, that led to the massive flooding. Fortunately, the situation at this hour is much better. A lot of the scattered showers.
What's up, Stephanie? Good to see you. All right, we're going to go ahead and skip ahead here. We don't need to hear that guy's analysis at all, actually. Nothing. All right, perfect. We'll go ahead and move on. So the next thing that we're going to be checking out is 5 hours ago, 5 Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza, 14 others injured. So we're going to go ahead and figure out what the hell is happening as of now. Let's go ahead and check this out.
Good morning, and thank you so much for waking up with us here on Live Now from Fox. It's Tuesday morning, July 8th. I'm Jeanne Francine here with you for the next few hours to give you all of your breaking news alerts, top stories, and of course your live events of the day. As we come on the air, we are following some
only
breaking
2 minutes and 50 seconds. Quick.
It takes us out to the Middle East. Take a look. This is the very latest from Fox News Foreign Affairs correspondent Trey Yingst reporting breaking news overnight into this Tuesday. He says, quote, a significant incident tonight in Gaza, waiting to report details until we can confirm additional information. But we actually have those details to confirm with you.
So it's saying this is what it's saying down here. 5 Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza, 18 Palestinians dead in Israeli strikes.
On this Tuesday morning, I want to give you the latest look out southern Israel looking into Gaza. And on this Tuesday morning, you are able to see plumes of smoke there in the distance where Gaza is. The Associated Press reporting 5 Israeli soldiers were killed in an attack in Gaza. The Israeli military confirming that information this Tuesday, while health officials in the Palestinian territories say 18 people were killed in Israeli strikes. The bloodshed comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is visiting the White House. We're told his visit is related to talks with U.S. President Donald Trump about a ceasefire plan to pause the Gaza fighting. Concerns this morning about if that ceasefire could be a reality with the conflict still ongoing. While there was no word of a breakthrough, the killings of the soldiers could add to the pressure on Netanyahu to strike a deal in Israel. where polls have shown widespread support for ending the war. And Israeli security...
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's in support of ending the war. If Hamas hands over all hostages, the war should be over. But we know that that's not what Netanyahu wants to do. He wants full and utter destruction of Hamas. He's made himself loud and clear about that.
Officials said explosive devices were detonated against the soldiers during an operation in northern Gaza, which was an early target of the war and an area where Israel had repeatedly fought regrouping militants. We're also learning militants opening fire on the forces who were evacuating the wounded soldiers. The official speaking on being anonymous because he wasn't authorized to discuss the incident with the media. The military saying 14 soldiers were wounded in the attack, 2 of them seriously. It brings the total of soldiers killed to 888 since the war against Hamas began back in 2023. The soldiers died roughly 2 weeks after Israel reported one of its deadliest days in months in Gaza, when 7 soldiers were killed after a Palestinian attacker attacked a bomb and attached it to their armored vehicle.
Wow.
So we continue to follow this.
Why would they even try to make a move on them at this point?
News this Tuesday.
I mean, just like, fuck, just give up, bro.
They're
not going to do that.
The Associated Press reporting 5 Israeli soldiers killed in Gaza. 18 Palestinians are dead in Israeli strikes. Again, you're taking a look at the latest video at the Israel-Gaza border on this Tuesday morning.
Yeah, it's been super hot over here as well, Steve. It's been fucking brutal over here. All right, so let's go ahead and see if there's any new images from this Texas flood that is here. I have 2, actually, yeah, 2 more ordeals, 3 more, actually, maybe, looks like. We'll see, regarding the Texas, floods. So I want to make, if there's any different images or reports, I want to get those. This is only 5 minutes, so let's go ahead and get at it. We don't need to hear any analysis from any other people, but we will hear the breaking news.
44 here on the East Coast. Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. Take a look at your screen. This is the latest time-lapse video. As you can see, the floodwaters rolling in. Tragic news this morning as the Texas flood death toll has now surpassed 100. We don't want to waste any time. Let's go ahead and check in with Fox Weather's Robert Ray as he joins us live from Kerrville, Texas this morning. Robert, good morning to you. We can see how there's an overturned tree behind you. That just sets the tone for the devastation and destruction that locals are still dealing with.
Yeah, they are still in an active search and rescue. And indeed, this tree right on the banks of the Guadalupe River. Look, it's still dark here. So you can see a little bit occurred on July 4th in the middle of the night into the early mornings. Just an unbelievable situation.
Look at that
unspeakable. 28 of those victims from Camp Mystic. And it is unbelievable because those are little girls and the families that are mourning the souls that were lost on July 4th.
So that's where the campers were, where the girls were camping. I guess this is the site.
The search and rescue is still very active. We see men and women up and down the Guadalupe River combing the debris.
Man, that totally fucking sucks. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. There's not too much more new from there. Let's go ahead and see if there's anything new on this one. And then we'll get into the cabinet meeting that's happening live.
That death toll now surpassing 100. So we are taking a live look here over in Kerrville, Texas. The camera and photographer down there on the scene continuing to pan to different shots. So I'm going to showcase them to you on this Tuesday morning as we're seeing the sun come up over there in the Lone Star State and getting a better picture at some of the damage that crews are still working to clean amid those search and rescue operations that are still underway. Heading back here to some more of the reporting from the Associated Press regarding the entire situation. And they say this.
And this is real quick, just to give you guys an update or transparency. This was 3 hours ago, so not that long ago.
Flash floods in Texas killing more than 100 people over the 4th of July holiday weekend and left others still missing, including girls attending a summer camp. The devastation along the Guadalupe River outside of San Antonio has drawn a massive search effort as officials face questions over their preparedness and the speed of their initial actions. Photographer here panning out just a little bit so we can get a clear...
You'll be able to come next year, Carney. Trust me, it's an annual thing now.
And an overview of this area, but panning in at this moment, there on the backside kind of away from the camera, but hopefully the photographer does zoom in a little bit closer. It looks like they are. You're going to be seeing some of that debris and some of the vehicles that have been completely destroyed, abandoned after those flash floods came in so quickly in the early morning hours of Friday.
I'm like, oh, you're going to show me some trees? You know, like, oh, big deal. Now there's a whole bunch of fucking cars over there stacked.
That was July 4th. So yeah, you can see it here. So a lot of work that crews still have to get to clean up, and this recovery process expected to last a very long time. Heading back to a little bit more of what we saw over the last several days, and now we know that those floods grew to their worst.
All right, so we now know all of the updates going on over there. Now, unfortunately, what is crazy is I'm going to show you guys something. I'm going to show you guys this. This was supposed to happen at 10 a.m., okay? This is what, look, it says July 8th, 10 a.m. That's the 45 minutes ago. Started the show 45 minutes ago, and they're still not live. You got to love it. So, in the meantime, let me go ahead and make sure we are up to date with everything in the news, and we most likely are not. So, let's go ahead and look. Oh, there is... What? There's some interesting things that I haven't seen right here. Oh, wow. What the hell? This is new. So check this out. I had no idea that this was happening at all. And I'm good about, checking and seeing all this shit. But I guess there was a massive ICE operation in LA that was streamed, and I guess I didn't see it. I'd like to see this. So anyways, this was, to be full transparency, 21 hours ago. So I do want to check this out and see what it looks like. Look at the people on the street.
What are they going to do, block them? Going to run out in front of them and not let them go? I mean, what is the plan here?
I like that guy in the chopper. It's like, what's their fucking plan, idiots? All right, let me go ahead and...
All need things. There you go.
Wow, it's already gotten packed. What? I just barely skipped ahead. Oh, wow. All right, we'll just skip ahead here.
You ran them off, guys. You ran them off.
Here goes protesters.
Good
This
work.
is all in LA, by the way. Just skipping ahead. Don't worry, we're not going to watch the whole thing because there's other new updates on the news. But I didn't see this, so I wanted to comb this really quick.
Get shot. It's a dude.
Are we going to see the actual operation, or are we just going to see a whole bunch of bozos?
Name is Keyshaw. Keyshaw. All. Actually, I think he follows me. No, that's PD.
I don't care. This guy's singing. Oh my God, yo, no way.
Emotional damage.
He's having a good ass time up there. He might have smoked a little doobie, before he went up there. Shit.
Look how quickly everything went back to normal. Between the Karen Bass and
all right. So we're not going to see any operation here, huh?
Man.
Ain't that a bitch? So they just wanted to show off that there were some protesters. All right, whatever, dude. Who gives a shit? Who cares, right? I mean, I wanted to see an operation. All right, so let me go ahead and bring up what is going on here. There is a few updates here. Oh, shit. Wow, what the hell's... This is an interesting ordeal here. Okay, so Marco Rubio, impersonator used AI in calls to senior officials. That's going to be super interesting. All right, let's go ahead. We got a couple interesting stories here. Hopefully we can catch the cabinet meeting live, but if we can't, it's not a big deal. One second. Sorry, you guys. I am behind, but it's okay. All right. Marco Rubio, here he goes. Let's see what's happening here.
Welcome in here to Live now from Fox. If you are just joining us, we are following some breaking news as it does pertain to Secretary of State Marco Rubio. We're learning an imposter used an artificially generated voice to impersonate Rubio in contacts with 3 foreign ministers and 2 U.S. politicians. This is according to a cable seen by Reuters today. In mid-June, the person contacted the ministers, a U.S. governor, and a member of Congress via the Signal messaging app. Voicemails were left in 2 instances, and a text message in a 3rd instance invited the targeted person to communicate on Signal. This is a quote directly from that cable. It says, the actor likely aimed to manipulate targeted individuals using AI-generated text and voice messages with the goal of gaining access to information or accounts. The State Department did not immediately respond to a request for comment. That State Department cable, which was dated on July 3rd, was sent to all diplomatic and consular posts and suggests that staff warn external partners about fake accounts.
What's up, brother? So loud over there in North Carolina, my man. Hopefully you're enjoying your Topless Taco Tuesday as well. And do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Hit that like button. Helps out the show immensely. Appreciate that.
Impersonations. Here's another quote from it. It says, there is no direct cyber threat to the department from this campaign, but information shared with a third party could be exposed if targeted individuals are compromised. The cable referred to a second effort back in April that was attributed to a Russia-linked hacker who conducted a spear phishing campaign targeting think tanks, Eastern European activists, and former State Department officials. Some other information we do know about this, the perpetrator copied a fake @state.gov email address on the messages, as well as logos and branding used by the state's Bureau of Diplomatic Technology. Another quote from the cable says, the actor demonstrated extensive knowledge of the department's naming conventions and internal documentation. In that campaign, the person posed as a State Department official in messages sent to private Gmail accounts. The State Department said industry partners attributed that campaign to a cyber actor associated with the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. So once again, we're going to continue to monitor social media.
Russian Foreign Service. That's interesting. All right. All right. So let's, I have another ordeal here. Texas death toll rises again, new siren warning system. So let me go ahead and bring this up here. 1 second. I'm pulling it up. This happened 10 minutes ago. 10 minutos ago.
Okay. Thank y'all for being here again today. Larry Letha, Kirk County Sheriff. I'm going to kind of go over some brief notes with y'all real quick. Then I'm going to pass it on to the mayor.
To the mayor.
Hundreds of first responders remain along the Guadalupe River in Kirk County working to reunite families. The large search and rescue effort, including local, state, federal, and volunteer agencies, continue. As of 8 a.m. Central Time, 87 deceased have been recovered in Kirk County, including 56 adults and 30 children. Identification is pending for 19 adults and 7 children, with 1 additional person still unidentified. At present,
good point, Gary. That's funny. But good morning to you, kind sir. Hopefully you're enjoying the morning so far.
5 Camp Mystic campers and 1 counselor still remain unaccounted for. We ask private boats to stay off the Guadalupe River to allow search and rescue teams to operate without any
Brother Lee, my man. Good morning. Good morning.
Interference. This is a tragic time for us. We're so grateful and thankful for all the resources that have been provided to us to do this job. And I can assure you we will not stop until this mission is complete. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to City Mayor.
Comes the mayor.
Thank you for being here. I'm Joe Herring Jr. I'm mayor of the city of Kerrville.
Man, that voice. How did you get elected with a voice like that? Shit. Say it with your chest, homie. Oh, shit. Damn. Oh, shit.
I want to reassure our community and those families that the city, the county, the state, and the federal experts are working together, not separately, but as one team. If you go inside the Emergency Operations Center, you don't see silos. You see one team. I want to talk briefly about in-kind donations. The outpouring.
All right, as you see there, listening into this press conference that's currently underway there in Kerrville,
Good save on the woman there, the reporter. Thank God.
Texas. We do have yet another shot. I want to bring that one to you here on Live Now.
On the city's Facebook page,
we
are grateful. We need a new system to handle the generosity of the world. Financial donations can still go to communityfoundation.net. That's the community foundation of the Texas Hill Country.
Brother Slim.
Again.
Good morning.
We are grateful for the generosity of the world. Over and over, I've asked you to pray. It occurred to me that I haven't asked you for what to pray specifically. Please pray for those who mourn, for those who wait, and for those who help. Now I'd like to call on Lieutenant Colonel Ben Baker.
Gee.
Morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name is Ben Baker, Lieutenant Colonel for Texas Game Wardens. I'd like to start out by thanking the mayor, sheriff, chief.
I hate when they sit there and thank everybody up there. I hate that shit.
We as Texas are strong, and together we face adversity. Your Texas Game Wardens responded in the early mornings of Friday to this tragic event, along with many other local and state partners. Since the early mornings of Friday, your Texas Game Wardens have had over 300 game wardens in the area, serving the people of the state of Texas and the citizens of Kerr County. Among that, we've searched 26 river miles since the tragic event has started. We've had approximately 444 rescues, 30 recoveries. Some of our resources and assets we have dedicated to this tragic event include 2 helicopters with hoist teams, 12 drone teams, 10 K-9 units, 9 swiftwater boat crews, 15 airboats, 16 UTVs, and 169 four-wheel drive vehicles.
Nice.
Your Texas Game Wardens will remain here and serving the community. We just ask you to continue to pray for the victims, for the families, for your first responders, for everyone involved. We'll open it up now.
Man, real quick, I got to give you guys a humongous win right now. We got Steve Posey calling it out, saying there's 28 in the chat and 40 likes. That is W for everyone in here, man. Breakfast Club is W, man. You guys deserve that shit.
Questions? Anybody has any?
Can you talk about how challenging it is for you guys in the mud, the big trees? It's been like it's rain.
No, thank you for that question. Extremely challenging. You know, we've got, of course, your Texas Game Wardens out there, your local, your state partners, Texas Task Force 1. We've got the National Forest Service out there. We've got A&M Forest Service. We've got numerous responders with specialized capabilities where we've got these large pile of debris. And with our K-9s and you know, when we're trying to make these recoveries, these large piles can be very obstructive. And to get deep into these piles is very hazardous. And those specialized teams have to go in there layer by layer because our first responders.
Oh, that shit is crazy whack.
Also, the safety of them is concerned. So it's extremely treacherous, time consuming. It's dirty work. The water's still there. So we're having to go late.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it's pouring in like a motherfucker right now. Let me see. Does he speak the whole time? No, he does not. I want to see who this guy is.
Can you repeat that again, please?
Sure, absolutely. I would like to know if you could outline, please, what this.
Oh, real quick. Look what's going on right this second. Live this moment.
I hugged him and I said, "Do you work here?" And he said, "No, my little girl."
This is
was in med
breaking
cabin."
live right this
He
moment.
said, "And I just found her best friend about an hour and a half ago. She had passed away." And he just fell apart. And so then we just hugged and talked for probably an hour about that. But then there was another, the grandpa was there looking for his granddaughter as well. There was a dad there of one of the counselors. The counselor was alive, but she was dealing
this
with the
chick
fact
rambling
that she
about?
had hung on to some of these girls and was trying to keep them out of the floodwaters.
Oh,
and
okay,
had
Texas.
gotten hit
First,
by
I'm like, what
something
is
and
she
had
going on
lost
about?
2 of the girls and wasn't able to hang them and was going to live the rest of her life thinking about that moment when she wasn't able to hang on to these girls. But these parents were picking up their kids'
At
belongings
the
out
campers.
of the mud and throughout the camp and putting them in bags. And then one of the dads said, "I knew 50 of these girls here." So I knew that was her
True.
dress. It's
Fred.
my daughter's
Ghost
friend's
Eagle.
dress.
Good
So
morning, by the
He
way.
was picking it up and putting it in a bag to return to her parents. And so it was and then the director was there comforting everybody who had lost his father the night before too. And he was still there trying to facilitate all of these parents grieving their children and find them. So the strength of people is incredible. One of the things that I asked there that day was that they all have escorts or counselors when parents come in. So from that point, that when they came into the camp, that they have somebody with them when they're
What's up,
going
Jack
and
and Classy?
looking
Good morning.
for their children's belongings or looking for their children. And so very emotional, but also just so tragic.
The relationship with Texas and the governor has been obviously very good for years with me, but the relationship with Texas and their first responders and us with our first responders and lots of other people, and we brought in a lot of helicopters from all over. And we had a lot of helicopters. It was actually dangerous, a lot of helicopters up there, but they were real pros and they were responsible for pulling out a lot of people. And we got them there fast, and Texas had some good ones too. But the response has been incredible, and the fact that we got along so well, I don't know, I don't even think that's a political thing, but we got along so well, and
that's good. Shouldn't
so
be
unified. I think a lot of lives have been saved. That could have been as bad as it was, and you could have lost double or triple. This thing was just really horrible. Well, congratulations on a great job, and appreciate it. I know you're going down. I'll be going down on Friday with First Lady. We'll be taking a trip, and we don't want to get in anyone's way because that's what happens. The president goes and everyone's around focused on. I don't want anyone to focus on us, but it's possible they could have somebody saved still. There's a lot of areas. It's a big area,
man,
and probably unlikely at this point, but
yeah,
there could be. I mean, they're thinking,
which is sad,
the possibility, but what a tragic situation.
Yeah, it is tragic.
Good job, and we'll see you on Friday.
Fucking
and
terrible.
We'll finish out the day here. I think you've been reading a lot about.
How can they possibly make that a white thing,
when you talk
Steve?
about financial after this, but we
How?
have a big country and we've been doing very well. The tariffs, as you know, are starting to come in at record levels. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in to our country. We never did that before. We're not used to it. We only have tariffs going out. We only adhere to the rules of other nations who charge us tremendous tariffs because we were led by stupid people or people without any business sense. And I'd like to ask God, you could maybe talk a little bit about how well we're doing with regard to the money coming in. And the big money will start coming in on August 1st. I think it was made clear today by the letters that were sent out yesterday and today. Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. We will take in about $100 billion in tariff income thus far this year, and that's with the tariff,
cabinet,
the major tariff not having started till the second quarter. So we could expect that could be well over $300 billion by the end of the year. We don't agree with CBO scoring, but for those who do, the CBO scored tariff income over the next 10 years at 2.8 trillion, which we think is probably low.
I wonder if Netanyahu's still sitting there.
Under your leadership, we're witnessing.
And they gave us no credit during this last little, the great, big, beautiful bill. I always use the word great. I add that to it because it really is what it is. It's never been anything like it, actually. And I want to thank all the Republicans that voted for it. And I want to,
They did run that down party lines.
They're voting for tax cuts. They're voting for no tax on tips, no tax on social security, no tax on overtime. And,
that's great for Americans.
Many
that
other
part.
things far more important than that. Great health care. And frankly, every Democrat should lose their election because it was purely political vote. They were told not to vote for it. So think of it. We got 218-2. And then with the Senate,
yes, sir, you did
50-3. Democrats total not one positive vote with all of the good things in there. Economic development money, tremendous border money. Now you're loaded up on the border. And I don't think we're going to need so much of it because we had zero come in last month. So I'm not sure how much of it we want to spend. You may think about that. You may actually think about saving a lot of money because the wall's been largely built and it obviously worked. But you may want to think about that. But so I think it's incredible when I watch the Democrats and they have standard lines like they had Russia, Russia, Russia. They had the laptop from hell all came from Russia. They make things up and they go with it and they feed it to you people in many cases.
To you people.
And I hear the new line is death. Oh, it's death. Everyone's going to die. There's nothing to do with that. In fact, we're saving our country. Death is from allowing 25 million people into our country, of which 3 or 4 are stone cold, hard criminals. 11,888 are murderers, many of them committing more than one murder. That's death, and the Democrats did that. Joe Biden did that by
That's brutal.
allowing people to come in here just totally unchecked, unvetted, open borders, open borders. The whole world was dumped into our country from prisons, from gangs, from mental institutions. We had many people walking the streets, walking in areas that we don't know anything about, that came out of insane asylums. They released their insane asylum, the insane population into our country, and it's amazing the job that you and Tom Homan
Oh
are
yeah,
doing,
extra
by the way.
surprise.
How that-
Appreciate that, man.
But
Thank
we
you.
have to get them out, and we have no choice. We have to get them out, and we are getting them out. And so, Pete, you want to tell them about our great military and how well we did with respect to the bombers and the B-2? We had the pilots here 2 days ago, and they were incredible people. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Truly a historic mission.
You good out there,
that
Papa
demonstrated
Penguin?
the skill and
Appreciate
courage
you
of the
always.
United States military. From those B-2 pilots and families that we had a chance to meet, sir, to the fighter pilots, to the refuelers, to the maintainers, to the air defenders who defended the base. What was demonstrated on the world stage was American military might and capability. And it wasn't just Fordo and Esfahan and Natanz that took notice in Iran. It was the rest of the world, that we have a decisive commander-in-chief willing to use these capabilities, which are the best in the world. As the president pointed out, no one else could have done what America did there on that night. And everyone took notice of that.
Yeah, we've heard that part. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, I unfortunately do have an appointment that I have to get going to, but stick around for the raid because we're going to be sending you guys off to Carney's ride. And if there's anything that is updated from this live that is very important, I'll obviously speak about that tomorrow morning. But ladies and gentlemen, I unfortunately do have to run. But with that being said, I can't thank each and every single one of you guys enough for making these very shows happen. It's because of you guys that I'm able to do this. So I'm very appreciative. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys stay safe out there. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning for more of the World's Madness. Much love, honor, respect to everybody, and God bless.
From the depths of darkness, a voice emerges, a host with a fire burns.